Hey Mike, it's Anna. Just wanted to say thanks so much for all your help with editing my podcast and helping me build my digital platform out on MemberVault, getting me in front of more parents and schools. I've got over 1,500 views in just the last few months, and you've just removed so much stress and time from my workload, just with your amazing editing skills, always willing to go above and beyond, and you've just helped me save so much time and make things so much simpler for me, and most importantly, having great impact in my business. So huge thanks.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Making Digital Real podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about a very simple online platform that I genuinely love and use regularly, especially with my podcast clients. And it's called SpeakPipe, SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com. Now, if you've got a podcast or you're thinking about starting one, this is one of those tools that totally changes the way and how connected your show feels without adding any complexity whatsoever. And if you know me or have worked with me in the past, you'll know that that is what I'm all about. Keeping it simple, keeping it real, without any complications. Now, one of the biggest challenges that podcasters face is interaction with their audience. You're putting out episodes into the world, people are listening, they're loving your episodes, but most of the time you hear nothing back, okay? No feedback, no questions, and you also don't really get a sense of who's on the other side of the microphone. So SpeakPipe solves that incredibly. Now, at its simplest, it lets your listeners send you a voice message straight from their phone or laptop, no account needed, no app, no login, just pure simplicity. They click a link, press record, and they speak. In fact, the voice note that you heard at the beginning of this episode, sent to me by the brilliant Anna Sarjanston, she used SpeakPipe to send me that voice message, which I instantly downloaded and stitched onto the beginning of this episode. Okay, it's so powerful. So let's talk about why this works so well, especially from a listener's point of view. Now, one of the biggest barriers people have when engaging with podcasts can be privacy. And I talk about this all the time. You don't want to be handing over your email address. You certainly don't want to be sharing your phone number as a podcaster. And also, they don't want to be logging into another platform. So SpeakPipe removes all of these complications and barriers. Your listeners can leave a message anonymously if they want, or they can say who they are. It's entirely their choice. And that sense of safety makes a massive difference to how willing people are to engage. So there's a few ways in which I use SpeakPipe. And when I'm doing any mentoring or training sessions to some of my podcasting clients, this is what I talk to them about. So first of all, feedback. Things like, let me know what you thought about this episode, or tell me what landed for you, or what would you like me to cover next? These are the types of questions you can be asking in your episodes and giving your listeners a really brilliant way of responding. Because voice feedback is so much better than written feedback, in my opinion. You can hear their tone, emotion, hesitation, excitement. You don't get that with text. And as a podcast editor and mentor, that kind of insight is incredible. It tells you what's working far more clearly than just download numbers. Secondly, questions. This is one of my favorite use cases. You can invite listeners to send in their questions by voice, not an email, not a direct message, a voice note. It's going to help you answer better, and it helps you shape future episodes that feel genuinely relevant. And that nicely brings me on to this other thing that I talk about with SpeakPipe, stitching those messages into your future episodes. You've now got content for future episodes with someone else's voice. Incredible. So this is where SpeakPipe becomes so powerful. You can take listeners' messages and drop them straight into your podcast episodes, instantly turning your show from a monologue into a conversation. It's going to make listeners feel heard. It makes new listeners realize that real people are engaging with your content. And what does that build? Trust. And that's a big keyword of mine, building trust very quickly. I edit episodes every day for clients. And from an editing perspective, it's so clean and simple, easy to download. The audio quality is consistent, easy to work with, which matters more than most people realize. Okay, another feature of SpeakPipe, which we've not discovered yet. This is the widget. You can embed your SpeakPipe account directly onto your website or your podcast homepage. And this is going to be an episode coming very soon this year, which I'm going to be doing a special bumper edition on. The power of having a homepage for your podcast, buying a URL for it, giving it its own page on the internet. But anyway, we'll come back to that in the future. But the widget from SpeakPipe can sit there quietly, nicely, inviting interaction from your audience without being pushy. No pop-ups, no forms, just a simple button that says leave a voice message. And it fits perfectly with a calmer, more intentional podcasting approach. Now, there's always something to say here about energy as well, because speaking is easier than writing for most people, especially when they're already listening to your audio content. So if you want engagement, meet people where they're at. If they're listening, let them speak. So cool. There's also something that gets overlooked when we talk about SpeakPipe, because it isn't necessarily just a podcast tool, but it's also a tool for relationship building, collecting testimonials, gathering voice notes for private podcasts or memberships, inviting reflections after a private episode, letting clients share their wins or ask you questions, and capturing ideas and insights into your community. And because it's voice, remember, it feels human. Rehumanization, one of my magic keywords. So, hopefully that's given you a really good indication of one of the many strategies that you can have when it comes to podcasting. Every time I speak to people about their show or their ideas for a show, most of them have never heard about this amazing tool or even thought about collecting voice messages from their listeners. There is a free version and a premium version. And if you're looking for a simple, secure way to connect more deeply with your listeners, encourage interaction and build a stronger podcast ecosystem, SpeakPipe is well worth exploring. I'm going to pop my SpeakPipe link in the show notes so you can hear how it works for yourself. I would love it if you could leave me a voice message, anything you like. And if you want help integrating this properly into your podcast, whether it be into your episodes or creating a landing page or a homepage for your show, then yeah, that's part of what I do. So please get in touch. And as always, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.